Right. Hi, my name is Rebecca Thompson Hitt, and I am the founder and executive director of the Consciously Parenting Project. And this is our COVID parenting support call. We're in the middle. I keep saying the middle. We're just not at the beginning. We don't really know when the end is, but we're just sort of in this ambiguous middle space of the pandemic that's happening right now. I would really love to say, oh, we're past the middle or, something else. And I don't know. Nobody knows. So today is Thursday, April 23rd, 2020. For most of us, the pandemic has been impacting us for at least a month, if not longer. I know for me, I'm in Mexico, and I was supposed to travel to the US at the beginning of March, almost the middle of March. And I was sick, actually wasn't cleared to fly. And so my husband left with my two boys and flew back to the US because my youngest son's passport was expiring. So the intention was renew his passport. He was going to spend some time with his dad, and then he was going to come back. But then everything snowballed and happened right after that. And so he's still in the US. He still doesn't have a passport. The passport offices are closed. And so we're in this like crazy limbo space of when is he going to be able to come back? When is it going to be safe for him to travel? What does that look like? And so even in my own family right now, there's this, okay, this is not the way that I wanted this to go that's happening right now. And then my husband was sick about 2 weeks ago for the entire week, like with a high fever, and he's immunocompromised. He's got stuff going on. And so luckily he never got a cough. We don't know what it was, but in the time of COVID, getting sick is like, wait, what was that? Oh, I'm coughing, I'm sniffling. Is it allergies? Is it COVID? Is it, what's happening to me? And there's like these other layers of stress that I've never experienced with getting sick. It's like, okay, whatever, I'll get sick and then I'll get better. But now there's this, is it COVID? So you hear somebody cough. Is it COVID? Like there's this hypervigilance thing that's happening that I'm noticing. So I'm in a small community outside of a big city. I'm in a pretty safe space, but we still have people coming and going. In Mexico, you're not isolated. It's like there was the 1-year-old who lives on our property with us, he turned one last night, yesterday. So they had a birthday party and they're like, come to the birthday party. And we're like, aren't we supposed to be social distancing? I mean, like, there's a whole thing going on, right? And so we went to get food because they're like, we made a bunch of food, come eat food. We're like, okay, fine. We'll come and we'll pay our, feliz cumpleaños, and, then we'll go. And the only thing that was really different is that no one hugged us and kissed us. Like everyone kind of stood back a little bit, but it was a lot of people. I'm like, okay, this is what social distancing looks like in Mexico. So, but that's so much part of the culture. We can't not gather. What do you mean not have the birthday party? What do you mean not get together for food? What do you mean? Like, this is all just family anyway. So anyway, so it's interesting even just to watch what's happening here. And my job is not impacted. I was already working online. And so I don't have those issues. But I know for so many people, there are issues with jobs. There are issues with even getting food. There are issues with now kids are home who were in school. There are issues with parents working from home with kids at home, some of whom have really big schedules that are coming down from school. These are all the things that you need to be doing when there's a great deal of stress and sometimes great disruption to our lives. Some families have someone who's sick or someone who has died. And yet we're still having this expectation that we're supposed to be going as normal, We're supposed to be working as normal. We're supposed to be schooling as normal, but it's not normal. This is the farthest thing from normal that I can think of. And disruptions on every level. The news, if you watch even small segments of the news and like see that the price of oil is like negative, like what? Everything is being turned on its head right now. And yet there is this expectation, not only an expectation we're supposed to go on as normal, but I can't tell you, like the I don't know if you've seen the meme, but it's the big blue circles, and it's like, where are you in the circles? You know, and as if it's great if you can just stay present and use it as an opportunity and blah 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 blah. And then it's like fear. Oh, you don't want to be over here in the fear part. But there are times when it's okay to be afraid. Hello, everything is falling apart. And for some people, it's really falling apart. So let's not shame each other based on what we're feeling or not feeling, experiencing, not experiencing. It's the same storm, but we're all having different experiences of that storm. I think that's been one of the best analogies I've seen. Some of us have like a really sturdy yacht, and you know the seas are a little rough, and you know it's a little hard here and there. We can't find toilet paper, we have to go to 3 stores, you know, like, okay, but we're okay. We're okay. And then other people are on a raft and it's sinking. We're not having the same experience. So I want to really just start by validating that we're all having our own experience, and we all need the space to talk about what's happening for us without being judged, shamed. You know, you should be doing this, you should be feeling this, being told how to solve your problems or what has to happen next, or if you just fill in the blank, you'd be fine. And there isn't that. There never is that anyway, but I think it is especially important right now that we have these spaces. So many people I'm hearing are invalidating themselves. Well, it's not as bad as this. And it doesn't matter where they are on the continuum of yacht to raft. It doesn't matter. They're all saying, well, at least it's not this, so I'm invalidating how I'm feeling. But it's hard. What's happening right now, even if you just haven't left your house with your toddler and oh my God, you don't have layers of support right now, that's huge. It's huge. And so we need those spaces. So one of the things that I have been working on, I've been working on for a couple of years, but I'm now at the point where it's just so needed. I've been working on training people to do the kind of listening that I do. And there are lots of people who have been attending healing story circles for quite a while, who have really been working on their skills. I've got people who are now currently in my training or have finished my training, who are saying, okay, we're ready. We want to stand up and we want to offer some layers of support. So I wanted to take a couple of minutes. I have 3 of the people who have offered to be layers of support. And this is with either free or low cost one-on-one sessions. And it's also with additional group support. So, and these are all over the world. The people that are here are all on the East Coast. So conveniently for you, Maya, these people are all in your time zone. But we have people, as you know, in Australia, Ireland, India, who are also, in Brazil, who are also willing to lend their expertise and their support to help create more layers of support for all of us right now. And so I'm working on getting the information out about the calls that they're going to be setting up, the times that their calls are available, their availability. So that's coming next. We've all been working on all these plans. There's a lot of moving parts. But I wanted to take a few minutes and just let each of you who have volunteered to be support, to just introduce yourself briefly and And maybe say a little bit about what's been happening for you in your world with the pandemic, where you live in the world, how old your kids are, anything that feels relevant to share. So we'll just take a few minutes and do that. So who'd be willing to go first?
I can if nobody else is jumping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Jen Kobrick, and I live in Central Florida. My husband is in the space industry, and I have two kids. They're 15 months and almost 5 currently. And um, in many ways, we are uh, doing as well as might be expected in this situation. And the fact that it's still hard and it's still a really challenging situation to be in is a big part of why I feel it's really important that now is the time to make time to support other people, because I know that the experience we're having is hard enough and is nothing compared to what other people are dealing with. And not to say that to invalidate my own experience, but to recognize that if I'm having a hard time, that there are other people who are having a much harder time. And if I can be any support to people who are having a harder time, then that's one way that I can contribute in this time. Um, so I was already a homeschooling mom. That was already part of my plan with my kids. And so of course that doesn't mean that we were at home all the time, but I was used to being with them all the time, or nearly all the time. And we have done a lot of extended travel together as a family. So we've had other experiences of being all together in relatively confined spaces for relatively long periods of time. And I've also been a part of Rebecca's groups for several years now. And so I have a lot of tools and skills and practice at communicating and listening and facilitating and getting support for myself that is not dependent on someone physically in the same space as me. And so almost immediately when things started getting hard, that was the first thing was, okay, Rebecca, consciously parenting people, I need you. And I can't imagine how those first weeks would have gone without having that to lean on. So our experience has been that we've been pretty much at home for about 6 weeks now. My husband he's a professor, and so he's been teaching his classes online from home for just over a month now. And this is their last week of classes, so things are a bit crazy because he has massive piles of grading, and he delayed a lot of assignments for them to give them some transition time, which means that now there's more piles of grading. And it's interesting because one of the biggest things that I'm seeing among people that I know is this big struggle between school and the reality of being home with their families, where the teachers are empathetic to what families are dealing with, but the teachers are also being told that they need to assign a lot of work, and the kids are largely not wanting to do the work and maybe weren't really wanting to do a lot of the work before, and now really don't want to, and really don't want to have their parents being the people to try to make them do the work. And the parents don't want that either. The parents don't want to be the relationship of trying to force a kid to sit down and do something they don't want to do. The parents want to be connecting with their kids, and the parents also are trying to work from home. And a lot of the families I know, both parents are trying to work from home. So they're somehow trying to squeeze in 80 hours of parents working, plus having someone try to, frog march the kids to the table to do schoolwork they don't want to do. And, none of that is fun for anybody. And so it's been interesting seeing sort of the other side of that with my husband, because, of course, a lot of his students are going through, anything from the general fear and anxiety that a lot of people are feeling right now to more direct impacts like not having food, or family members being sick. And he's compassionate to their situation, and he's also responsible to his work, which is telling him, you still have to give grades, you still have to finish the semester. And so it's interesting to see him try to tightrope walk those two things and try to be compassionate and forgiving and also keep his job. Um, so and meanwhile, of course, this is a time in the semester when it would be challenging anyway because he'd be having lots and lots of grading and extra work. And so now he's doing all of that at home, and the kids don't understand why they can't play with daddy when he's just right there. um, so I I am once the semester is over, which will be the end of next week, I am going to be starting a book club for free through the Consciously Parenting Community Facebook group, where we'll be discussing Rebecca's first book. And we'll be sort of taking it chapter by chapter over the course of a couple of months. So it'll be a slow pace with not a huge amount of reading, and we'll be discussing those concepts in general and also specifically how they can be helpful navigating the challenging situations that we're in right now. And I'll also be doing free healing story circles with Christine, who's also on this call, once a month. And then I'll also be available one-on-one for a low-cost support as well if there's people who feel like they need something more specific to their situation, an opportunity to really be heard individually. And I'm also pretty active in the Consciously Parenting Facebook group. So, if there's questions or things like that, I'm happy to be supportive there as well. So thank you, Rebecca, for putting all of this together because it's so needed right now. And it's really awesome to be offering the support with a community of other people who have similar ideas and are here to help each other as well, instead of being totally on my own trying to figure out how to help people.
Yeah. Thank you, Jen. I really appreciate you showing up and answering the call within yourself of, and one of the things that you said on one of the calls was, really, this feels like you're in the best case scenario, and it's still so hard. And that really has stuck with me because, oh my gosh, if this is the best case scenario and it's so hard, what's happening with people who aren't? What's happening with those other people who, as we've said, lost jobs, losing loved ones, the other layers. And yeah, and I also want to say that you are one of my graduates from my training program. So there are 3 of my graduates who are part of the team who are offering support right now. And so Jen is one of those. So she's a holistic family consultant certified through the Consciously Parenting Project. So thank you so much, Jen. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, who's willing to share next?
I can go.
Thanks, Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine. I am in North Carolina, outside Raleigh, in the United States. I live here with my husband and my 3 girls, 7.5, 4.5, and 7 months. And I've been doing healing story circles with Rebecca for a couple years now, maybe like 2.5 years, and joined the training program. This started at the end of last year, 2019. I'm in a pretty similar situation to Jen. You can hear my youngest in the background. My husband is able to work from home. I already am a stay-at-home homeschooling mom, so for the most part, our daily lives haven't changed that much. My husband was already used to working from home 2 days a week as it was. But yeah, it is still hard. We had co-ops and we got out to do things, and now we're not able to do that. We have family close by that we usually see a couple times a week that we're not able to see. So it's, the typical support that I would have throughout the week isn't really there. So that makes it harder. And not having that support, then I find myself needing some extra time to myself in order to have capacity to support my family. But, then that changes kind of the dynamics at home with my children and what they're expecting me to be able to do with them. So again, kind of best case scenario, but there are still challenging moments. And yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the hurt and the pain and the challenges. So I really wanted to be a part of this team to offer support to other people, especially since I've been doing these healing story circles with Rebecca, and having that extra support had already changed my life just in dealing with general life. So having extra support when life is crazy and the added stress of COVID, I really wanted to be able to give back to the community, to have that extra support, because it makes such a difference in being able to handle what's going on and really being able to maintain these relationships with our families without it becoming some sort of traumatic experience. So yeah, I am going to be doing a monthly healing story circle with Jen, and have another one in the works. And I'm also available for free one-on-one support. And yeah, I'm here for whoever needs it, and however you need to be supported. And I'm grateful that my circumstances have led me to be able to have capacity to help support other people during this time.
Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you for being here and for being willing to share your listening skills with the community that needs it right now. So glad you're here. All right, Alejandra, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Alejandra Campos. I'm living right now in Florida, in the United States. But I'm originally from Chile. So my family and our friends are there. We live here around 8 years. So we have friends here. We have settled here with our new friends around. But our concerns are still with our family there, because they are far away for a long time, but usually we have the possibility to see each other, to travel. And now the difference is, under these circumstances, we don't know if something happened here or there, we can travel. So it's the hardest part for us here. In our daily life, we are living, as the others were saying, in a favorable situations. We are here with a good weather, with some space, so the isolation is not that hard. So I'm very grateful for that too, because it's not that hard to be here with our family. For some years in Chile, I studied psychology and I was working with people, and it's been something I like to do and I enjoy to do. So when I hear about this project, I was called to be here, and I hope I can be a layer of support for someone who needed. I know every one of us, it's needed something these days, and it's good to have a group or someone else where you can be together, even if it's online. And today online, it's the best way we can do it, because we can see each other in person. And I'm familiar to doing things online. For some people, it's something really new, or they don't know how to use it, or they think are afraid to do it because it's different or it's not the same. And my experience is, because I traveled from another country and I was far away, I used this tool a lot. And when I was first here, I didn't know if I would still be living here for how long. So because of that, I started doing things online, so I could do it whatever I want. So it's really useful. And I also speak Spanish because I am from Latin America. So I would be so happy to have people who is in this community, but maybe it's more comfortable in their native language, or I'll be available also for one-on-one calls or for groups too. And we have 2 other people speaking Spanish, and we will be working together.
Thank you, Alejandra. And you are currently in my training.
Right.
And yeah, and I'm so happy to have you here as part of the team, and to also be bringing Spanish from someone who's a native speaker. My Spanish is so bad that I can't even begin to do this work in Spanish. So I'm so grateful to have people who are fluent, because I know there are so many people who, you know, I know what it's like to stumble through trying to, like, you know, navigate in a language that's not yours. So I really am very grateful. And Alejandra is actually also translating my first book right now into Spanish. And so, like, it's very exciting. We've got this thing that's happening where more people will be able to have the information and learn and grow and connect. So thank you, Alejandra. Yeah. So I wanted to check in with you, Maya, and just see if there's anything that you want to share with us. If you just want to be heard, if you've got something, a question or a challenge, all is we are here to support you.
Hey, thank you. It's wonderful to see all of you, and I really love and appreciate that spirit of generosity and stepping forward to support others, and hopefully yourself within those sharings. And I'm definitely interested in the book group that Jen mentioned, and I'd love to be a part of that. So just a quick background, my name's Maya, and I live in Michigan in the US. And sometimes people use the hand to describe where they are in the state. You know, we're surrounded by the beautiful Great Lakes, and I'm on the northwestern tip here of the lower part of the state. Here's the Upper Peninsula, and I'm in Cedar, Michigan. I'm north of Traverse City, and I'm surrounded by beautiful national park and state lands. It's wild and woolly. We actually have coyotes that could come in, and brown bears, Massasauga, rattlesnake occasionally, things like that. So it's a beautiful area. However, as I was saying earlier on, I'm not a winter person, and we have had some cold weather, but true to being Michiganders, I guess we try to go out and make something happen anyways. Sometimes my boys, I have 2 boys, and they love to fish. It's 40 degrees out, and we're going fishing, believe it or not. Not too many fish, as you might imagine. So I have 2 sons, Tenzin, who's 13, and Milo, who is 10. And I have homeschooled them. This was Tenzin's first year at a project-based school. But our story kind of looked like when everything first kicked in. beyond homeschooling my son Milo, I have a real passion for working with struggling readers and spellers. Doesn't have to be called dyslexia. There could be a series of challenges. So beyond homeschooling Milo, I was also working with 3 children on Tuesday and Thursdays. Now that school is going to be closed, that was kind of severed, which was really heartbreaking for me because I loved those kiddos and they also felt like, wow, we had good, just special relationships. So that was hard. And then, so my son Tenzin was going to come back, which was fine since we had homeschooled before. But he needs a lot of support with anything in writing and spelling. So there was a lot to figure out there. And I'm so grateful that the school he attends is just really interested in relationship to the individual child and where they are as a learner. But that was, that still took a lot of navigating. And then my husband, who does IT work, was laid off, which wasn't real surprising, except that, and with all of this, I felt like, okay, I'm keeping some rhythms. I'm really aware of what's going on with myself and doing some radical self-care. But then when I found out that he was being laid off, but 5 people were being kept on, that's kind of triggered in me some real fear that this isn't necessarily a short turnaround. Since the IT work he does has to do with conferences and a resort, it might be a real long. So that's when I felt like crisis, red flags, things really going off, and I've had to make real leaps in taking care of myself and keeping everybody else's energy grounded in my house. That's kind of when things were like, whoa, now I just tipped. I've been kind of going with the changes, knowing things are happening, kind of aware, and now I'm really struggling. We were a family in 2008. He had been in different work at that time with the car industry, and that went under. So, our family has had these stories before. So for us, this triggers all of that. Financial fears. And I think we're being really mindful of what's going on for us individually. My husband and I take a lot of time out to sit down and share a talking stick to kind of be like, whoa, I'm struggling right now. Maybe I can't work with the kids right now because all of this is going on. I need to go take a walk. I need to just kind of know that I'm in flight mode and just let that be and go read or zone out, or I think we've been pretty good with that. But yeah, so there's an awful lot of my story right there. That's where our family is at. And I've also been trying to check in with the boys a lot about, mom and dad are expecting us to keep our rhythms of homeschooling. And right now I'm just feeling like a mess because the little things that I want financially, it's an absolute no. So, just allowing that to be and really tapping into them. And especially Milo, my younger one, tends to have, at least my interpretation of it is, he has rather a personality that tends to strong emotions anyways. And so this is really pushing on that for him even more. And we're doing our best just to try to acknowledge where he's at and honor what's going on for us, and being really careful about being gentle with ourselves so we can remain gentle with those feelings of his. And it's challenging sometimes. Yeah. So thanks for listening. That's me.
Mm-hmm. Would you like some reflection?
Sure.
Anyone like to reflect what you heard Maya say?
Maya, I hear that you're having a really difficult situation and the potential for a real crisis, and that it's familiar because it's not the first time that you've faced that as a family. And that's a lot. That's a lot to carry. And then it's, it's harder than usual to get self-care, and you need more of it because you're dealing with so much. And that even as you're dealing with so much yourself, that you're still trying to give the rest of your family some calm and stability and meet their needs. And I'm hearing that you have a lot of tools, and that you're able to communicate, and you're able to recognize that you're experiencing so much, and to share that, and that your husband is able to share that as well, and you're able to have some really clear communication with each other about what you need and what you're experiencing. And that it's still really hard, because it is really hard, and if yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. And I'm glad that you're reaching out for support, because that's too much to carry by yourself.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Anyone else like to reflect?
I will. Yeah, I hear your struggle right now. Just like Jen had reflected, and just want to echo that I'm so glad that you're here, that you're reaching out for extra support to help you get through this time that's so difficult already, but that hopefully with some extra support, it'll help you have some more tools and resources to get through it differently than maybe in the past. And yeah, my heart just goes out to you right now with your current situation. And again, just so glad you're here.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
And can I just add that that the same way that you're working so hard to give your kids what they need, and to see the big emotions that your son is having, and to, communicate with your husband about you both needing things, and to meet those needs, and that as hard as you're working to give them that space that they need, that's what we're here for, to give you the space that you can have your feelings and your experience, so that you don't have to put it on them, and so that you can let that out, and not have to carry it around all the time while you're trying to make space for them.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jen. Yeah, I hear how much you're holding, and how, just as you went through the different places that your energy has been going, and the school that your son was in, and how that was going well. He's got a lot of needs, and many of them were being met with the school, it sounds like. And then you were tutoring and homeschooling, and that was feeling good. But I'm already, okay. And just the care I could feel that you had towards the students that you have been working with, and how hard that was. Like each little thing that you shared was really touching to me, to hear you, and the care and attention, and like even talking about your older son's expression of what's happening, and how it's a lot sometimes, and he just had a bunch of changes, and so you're tracking all of this, and you're also aware that with your husband's job, which is so reminiscent of what happened in 2008, and knowing that these industries aren't going to come back very quickly, and kind of setting yourself up for a long haul. And then, but I kept hearing you asking, okay, what do I need? What do I need? How can I connect? How can I communicate? I've just kept hearing this thread throughout the whole thing, and then you're here. So you saw an opportunity to get some more support, and you came. And you are just, I can just see you with like arms open saying, okay, what do I need so that we can keep moving forward? And so this doesn't become a major trauma, but that we're adequately supported to move through this.
Right.
And I see that wise part of you that's really tracking everybody's needs, including your own. It isn't one of those where I'm only focusing out here, but you recognizing how essential it is for your family that you have the support. So I'm really, really honoring that.
Yes, and bless you for offering that and keeping that going.
Yeah, it's important right now. It's really important. And you know, these are 3 of the people who are part of my team. There are more. I mean, this is what it takes right now. The amount of need right now is so big, and so many people don't have it, or jobs are lost and there isn't a financial ability to pay for support. You know, it's not a priority. It's there's no job, there's no money, there's no income. But those are the situations where we need the most support. So how can we do this in a way that feels good, where it's not just one person, but it's a group, it's a team. We're all going to support each other so that we have layers of support, so that you have layers of support.
Bless you. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So did you have any specific question or something that was big in you that you wanted to ask about? You don't have to. It could just be that sharing was what you needed today, and that's great.
Felt
Also.
so good to feel supported and sharing. So bless all of you for listening, for deeply listening and reflecting back so beautifully.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing and being willing to share. And Alejandra had to step away. Her son needed something. So she's back. But I just wanted to check in and see if there's anything that you wanted to say to Maya before we shift.
Yeah, sure. Just because I got interrupted because, you know, we are with all our family here and they are in their own calls too and needed some help. But I'm so glad you're here and taking your time to try to be yourself again, or even with all the uncertainties and the struggles, trying to help not only for yourself, but trying to help your family. I'm so glad. And yes, we need the support, not only you, not only people we know. We are all together in this, living this together in one way or another. So
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Alejandra. So the last thing I just wanted to talk about, which, you know, maybe I should have talked about first. I'm realizing it's like kind of getting pushed to the bottom, but I have a series that I created called When the Unexpected Happens. And I created it like a decade ago. And I had this like nudge inside of me, like, you need to put that out. Like, that's important. There's a lot of really helpful things in there. And then I was sick, and then my husband was sick, and, you know, all of the things happened. And last weekend, I finally got a chance to go back into it, and I was listening to the first audio. And I was blown away at how applicable it is to everything that's happening now. Something that I created a decade ago is so incredibly relevant to how we handle stress, how we deal with abrupt change, unexpected change. And so it's an 8-part audio. It was back before video was easy to do. And so I recorded only audio, and I did them as live calls. And so the audios, I'm actually in the middle of transcribing them. I'm doing about 1 a week and adding them in, but I made the course free so that anybody can go in and access the course, so that The information is available, and it basically goes through the first 4 weeks. I mean, I did them as weeks, but you can speed listen to all of them. You don't have to wait. 8 weeks. Okay, in 8 weeks, I'll know all this information. But the first 4 weeks are really about you as the parent. What's going on for you? What are your stress patterns? What do you need right now? So it's really looking at yourself. What's your story? What's happening in your world?
I think we lost you, Rebecca.
Uh-oh. Interesting. Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. I don't know what the last thing you heard was.
First 4 weeks.
Okay, first 4 weeks. Thank you. So in the first 4 weeks, we look at you, your attachment patterns, how you handle stress, what your story is, making room for your experience. This is one of those things where, as Alejandra reminded us, we're all living it right now. It's not like we can go through this, however long it's going to last, do our work around it, and then we can get to our kids. This is one of those things where we're probably going to be building the bicycle while we're riding it. And so, but we still need to look at our own story first. We need to look at what's happening for us. We need to understand what this is bringing up for us. Like Maya, you talked about 2008 is very reminiscent to what's happening now. That's part of your story. That's part of your family's story. And so acknowledging that, acknowledging the things that have changed, like I said in the beginning, the validation piece is really important, not invalidating ourselves because it's not as bad as whatever, whoever, but really allowing our own story to be with whatever is bubbling up for us, whatever feelings are bubbling up for us, whatever thoughts, however rational or irrational, whatever, it's there for a reason. This is an amazing time to really see what's in there that might need a little support. It's all going to come up now. We haven't worked on it before, or even if we have, it's all going to come up now. Then the second 4 weeks, we shift and we start looking at the child. What's the child's experience? How can we support our children through this? What is it that they need? What's their story? How are they experiencing what's happening? And some kids, just from my experience, they're rolling with a lot of it, but they're also making up stories about what's happening. In the absence of information, we make up stories. So for kids who are, told there's just a bad germ out there and we just have to stay home, then they might be making up a story about germs are really bad and I shouldn't touch anything, and I'll just be really quiet. And so the story that they've made up about it might be very different than another child. So part of it is making that space to be curious about what's happening for your child. Hi, Holly. But we have to have enough space within ourselves. We have to have people who are listening to us. We have to have room for our story before we have room for our kids' story. So the When the Unexpected Happens series is in my learning center, and it is free. So all you have to do is go in and register, and you have immediate access to all of the audios. And I'm going to be adding in transcripts, about one a week, just because that's the turnaround time on this right now. I was so surprised that I hadn't transcribed it, like after all these years that I'd never done that. But here we are. So now is the time. So if you're more comfortable reading, then the first transcript is there. There's only a couple spots that it's like, what was I saying here? What happened? It's only a couple of those. So just keep reading. Yeah. So I wanted to say hi, Holly.
Hi, Holly.
How are you?
I'm really great. You're right across from me in my sewing machine, so it just feels like you're right here.
I'm right with you. I am
I
so
love
happy to be here. I know I miss you being my neighbor.
it. I miss that.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Kind of mostly what I talk about.
I know you've been posting. Holly rented, so let's talk about what COVID did for Holly. Holly rented an apartment on my street here in Mexico. So she rented an apartment, she came back, she furnished this apartment like in what, like 5 days or something crazy?
Yeah, I was there for a little over a week.
Right.
Yeah.
But you had it mostly done in like,
Yeah.
I don't know, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah,
And it was very impressive. And then it was like the COVID stuff. She went back and then the COVID stuff happened and then she hasn't been able to come back. So she's very sad. She's been posting pictures of her beautiful apartment that's waiting for her here in Mexico. So, but it's really fun to have her be my neighbor. But she can't be my neighbor until this is over. So, yeah.
Soon, maybe.
Yeah. So is there anything that you would like to share about what your experience is of COVID where you live, or any questions that you have?
You know what, it's interesting. I was like, I'm going to get on this and I'm in a good place. So I don't usually go looking for Rebecca and help and things when I'm in a good place. But it was like, no, do it. Build up the good stuff. That's an okay thing to do, right?
Absolutely.
Our house here was the reason I was traveling so much and going to Mexico and all those things is because our house here was under construction and torn up for more than a year. We had an upstairs with bedrooms so we could stay, but the downstairs was no kitchen, no floors a lot of times, just really inhospitable to everything that is about like a mother and nurture and caring and community and all the things that are really important to me. So we had traveled a lot and now the floors finally got done. So we're back in it and we have plenty to do. And I'm starting to get this feeling of like, oh, it might all open up and I might be able to go do things again. And I'm still not going to be done with all the work because there's so much work to be done. And so I'm trying to really motivate myself to work harder. And I think it's been really good that I have so much to do in so many varied things and arenas. You know, I'm sewing some masks, I'm pressure washing. We went and picked blueberries yesterday. Being outside and seeing other people even from a distance was a really great thing. So there's a case at my husband's work and he's essential. So his life hasn't changed very much. So he's going in and that person has gone back into the hospital. And so that's very, very scary because it could be, it's right there. It could be right. It's as close to us as it could be and not be us. And so that part is kind of terrifying. He's a father. He has a few kids. He's in his early 30s and he's in the hospital and he's been out of work for 5 weeks, I think. So it's not a joke. And I'm in that place of, oh, maybe I'm getting a little lackadaisical. No, you got to stay the course, but there's plenty to do. So I'm really glad for those distractions. So that's where I'm at.
And you were already homeschooling, so that didn't change.
Oh, yes.
And then how old are your kids, just so people have a sense?
Zoe is right here, and she is 10, and my son is 14. And they really both have, since we traveled so much, they're glad to be home. They're glad to have their friends and things going on here, and they are, they're doing okay. They're really happy to be here.
Hi, Zoe.
They're really happy to be here. And they have really rich online lives, especially Christian. My older son, especially, he's like, I'm fine. This is good with me. And I'm just still doing the things I've always done, which are, can you please like get some exercise at some point in the day, walk around the block or whatever. But yeah, so it's just kind of normal for us.
Yeah, I know. I've been having trouble getting a hold of my son, and so her son asked how my son was, and I'm like, I don't know, you tell me, because I think you probably talked to him more recently than I have. So
Yeah.
and he had. He's
Yeah.
like, no, he's good.
Yeah, they're playing D&D together one night a week with a bigger group, and I'm like, that's kind of all I want for you, is to be connecting with people outside of this house, and you are, so you're not living in a bubble, and you're having experiences, and so that works.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing, Holly.
no problem.
Yeah. And Natalia, hi.
Change my view.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. It's nice to see you.
You too, and nice to see everybody.
Yeah. So we're just wrapping up. But I would love for you to introduce yourself and talk about where you live in the world and what brings you. She's also one of our people who's volunteered to be a layer of support. So if you can introduce yourself, we would love to.
Okay. First of all, did you say we're wrapping up? We're only starting, are we?
No, we've been going an hour.
Oh no, I thought it was at 8 o'clock. That's what I'm just signing in.
Oh,
Oh no.
sorry.
Yeah, I had
Natalia.
3.
You
I
had
had
3?
3, so I don't know.
Hmm. Sorry about the confusion.
Oh no, I
I'm
put it in the
so
calendar at
sorry.
2. I was totally wrong.
You were wrong. Okay.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yes.
hello everybody. Sorry, I missed the call. I'm really sorry now. Did you record it now?
Yes, it's
Great.
recording.
Brilliant. So I'm Natalia. I'm in Ireland, and I live with my husband and my 2 children. Gabriela is 6 and Sebi is 5. And I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner. I'm a yoga teacher as well. And I'm very passionate about conscious parenting. I start diving into conscious parenting when I start observing in my own clients things that were happening with them and difficulties they were having in their relationships and with their children. And then I became a mom myself, and I faced many of those challenges that I was observing. And yeah, conscious parenting, being present with my kids have helped me to, I suppose, to become the mom that I wanted to be for my children. I didn't have an easy childhood. And when I became a mom, I was very concerned of how was I going to do that job. So it was very, very important to me to find a way that it felt right for me. So I'm really looking forward to connect with all of you. And yeah, I'm really happy and glad to be part of this group.
Thank you, Natalia. And you also speak Spanish.
Yes,
And
I
so
am.
that's your native language.
Yes.
And so you are going to be working with Alejandra and with Carolina, who's the other one, who also speaks Spanish. So to be offering the Spanish support. And obviously, everyone also speaks English very well. So if you're interested in support from any of them, they're all here to help support. And the only other question that I have for you, Natalia, is what's it like in Ireland right now with the COVID situation?
We are we're obviously on lockdown, but we're allowed to go out, and Ireland is very spacious. We have loads of green areas. So I when I go out myself, I see so many people exercising. It seems like everybody is, at least for me, I'm getting great comfort in nature. Um, um, the situation is not so bad. They're thinking, starting to open up maybe schools once a week, and have maybe first and second class one day and third and fourth class another day. So we're waiting until the 5th of May to see what's going to happen. But we're not experiencing any lack of supplies or toilet paper or anything like that. Yeah, it's like, yeah, when I see other countries, I feel blessed. We're not so bad here, you know, and there's not so many people dying or so many people getting infected. So it's under control, I think, for now anyway. We don't know, but it feels under control as it can be.
Right. And I think it's really helpful for those of us who are behind a little bit. The countries in Europe experienced this before the countries in the West. And so just hearing little bits of stories about things starting to open up or conversations about how it's going to open it, for me, feels really hope giving. Like that maybe we're not going to have to do this forever. But like actually hearing those stories of movement, of, okay, we're having a conversation and we're looking at it like this, you know, the children will come one day a week. And it just feels good to me to hear that. So thank you for sharing. I love imagining just all of the green that's all around you. That was very resourcing for me, just listening to you talk about the green of Ireland and being able to be out and exercise and all of that. So yeah. Thank you so much, Natalia. I'm glad that you made it.
Yeah. A few minutes. I was so looking at the clock and it's like, I have to go on my call now. I have to go on my call. Well,
yeah, and you did.
I did, yes.
Yeah. So we'll do this again next week. It will be an evening call at 8 p.m. Eastern, which means it will be in the wee hours for you in Ireland.
That's okay.
But I know you get up anyway. So, and so you're all welcome to come back. Please invite people. Let people know that we have layers of support that are available. This is important, and it's going to take a little bit of time for people to kind of get the idea of what it is we're doing and what we're offering. Some people have no concept of what it means to be in a space like this, where we're not here to fix it. We're here to listen and be with you and to be with each other and really support. It supports all of us to be in this space, to realize how much we're not alone. And that, I think, is one of the things I've been getting out of all of the group calls that I've been doing and all of the individual sessions with people all over the world, is we're all going through this together. We're all in this together. And we need to remember that, because we're isolated in our own homes and it feels like sometimes we're the only one. So the more we can reach out and be in connection and have spaces that we can be validated for wherever we are without judgment, the better. So share with somebody who you think would benefit from being part of these circles, whether it's the calls with me, whether it's the book club with Jen that she was talking about, whether it's talking about when the unexpected happens. Whatever it is, whether you need one-on-one support. We're working on the mechanism right now to get all of the things coordinated for the calls, both one-on-ones and the other group calls that are going to be offered. So I'm actively working on that with my team right now. And so watch for information coming soon about more opportunities for support, and then help us spread the word. Just help us get the information out that support is available, that you don't have to go through all of this by yourself. So anyone want to say anything in closing? Anything feel important? Anything I'm missing? Everybody? My team?
Rebecca, can I just suggest that if people want support now and don't want to wait until we get all of the kinks worked out and get all of these different call times up on the website and stuff, that on Facebook, the group is called Consciously Parenting Community, right? The free group.
Yep.
So people can join that group and start posting and looking for support immediately.
Yep.
And also, do you maybe want to tell them your email address so that if they really want to set something up right away, they can email and you can help connect them where they need to be connected?
Yep. Yeah. So my email address is Rebecca, REBECCA, at consciouslyparenting.com. And consciously is CONSCIOUSLY, parenting. Like, okay, if you can spell it, you can get me. But if you go to my website, consciouslyparenting.com, there's information for my contact information there as well. You can also get me on Facebook. If you go to the Facebook page, you can reach me through there, the Consciously Parenting main Facebook page, or the community, or if you're a member, through the member page. So I do check it regularly. So if you are needing support sooner, please reach out, let me know, and I'm going to connect you. We should have something up within the next day so that you'll be able to go to that COVID support page and connect with someone who can support you. But in the meantime, absolutely. I know some people have a lot going on, and you know, and even if that's set up, you can still go to the community page, still ask for support there. So thank you, Jen. And the book club will also be there. So you said that before, but the Consciously Parenting community page is going to be where the book club, she's going to do Facebook Lives. And so then people can type and ask questions and be part of the conversation. And we're working on just a coupon code so that if you don't already have the book, it's $5. And if you can't afford $5, let me know and I will get you the book. So they have an audiobook and a PDF version. So you can also get it through Amazon, but I can't put that on sale. So yeah. So thank you. Anything else anyone wants to say? Thank you for making masks, Holly.
You're welcome. I ran out of bobbin. I'm sorry I missed it. I really was looking forward to tuning in today, but I'll make it to next time, I think.
Okay. All right, good. Look forward to seeing you. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.